Right, bees, good morning. What are we doing today? Well, firstly, we're back at the apiary. It is just before sunrise, just past 6 a.m. The sun is supposed to rise on that horizon just right there. And I'm just trying to get ahead of the heat wave because, quite frankly, for the last God knows how many weeks now, it's been brutal. It's been super, super hot. And lately we've been getting like 40 degrees Celsius light temperatures, and that is just not bearable. Not for us humans, neither for the bees. So what are we doing today? Say good morning to the boys. Morning, boys. Hi. What are we doing today? We are gonna do a couple of things. We're going to check on the hives, okay, and in particular the hives which are a bit troubled, in a sense that they are struggling to raise a new queen, thus, have a strong, healthy colony. So we've been helping these guys, and over here, these couple of beehives, what the deal is that we have got, well, the last time I checked them about 4 or 5 days ago, we've had a queen cell that was due to, hatch, as well as over in this hive. And now today we are going to be, as I said, looking for a couple of things. Firstly, has the queen cell hatched? And secondly, if there are any signs of them trying to turn into a sole drone army, which will inevitably lead to their demise. So it's what we're trying to prevent. I'm being a little bit brave now. I haven't got the smoker on. I'm gonna, because I don't really like smoking them out unless I really have to. So I'm just gonna test them out, see how friendly they feel today. And if need be, I'm gonna light it up. But I like to work him, without the smoker, if possible. It is midsummer, it's very hot, and the lack of forage will prompt them to, revert to robberies. And I've noticed when I've been coming in the evenings, I've noticed that they show the signs. A few hives have been pushed by other families, and they are generally more aggressive this time of the year. So hence why working them without a smoker may be a bit of a trouble, but so far they seem to be nice and calm. And we're gonna just check them frame by frame. It's supposed to be honey over here. I barely got any honey, which is not great. I'm telling you guys, it's been a bad year for honey collecting. Okay, there's nothing on here. So as we're getting towards the middle, that's where you would normally, start to see where the actual business happens of raising brood and stuff like that. But because we haven't got a functioning queen here, then I'm not expecting to see any any actual brood. I'm only hoping not to see any drone brood, and there are several ways how you can identify that. Normally what the worker bees will do is they will lay eggs inside the cells which are not fertile, and they lay several eggs. If you look inside the cell, sometimes you'll see like 2-3 eggs being dumped inside, which means you're about to get a drone army and lose the family. So I'm not seeing any as such over here. Let's have a look. Let's see where the queen cell was. Can't remember exactly. So many hives. We're going to move them nice and slow. So whilst I'm looking at the frames, I'm also looking at the bees. I'm trying to see. I'm looking for a queen. That's just my sole purpose of opening this hive. I've got to find a queen, because if I find a queen but I don't find any eggs that she's laid, chances are she may have hatched recently and it takes her roughly about a week until she goes out on the mating flight, becomes fertile, and is able to start laying eggs. Until that's happened and she's returned safely into the hive, she's not going to be able to lay any eggs. But very often more than I would like it to be, or any beekeeper really, is what happens is that when they go out on their mating flights, they never come back. So then we have to restart the entire process of getting a frame with fresh eggs from another hive, place them inside this problematic hive so the bees can lay more queen cells and raise a new queen, which takes 16 days for the queen to hatch, and then roughly another week for her to get fertile and start laying eggs. So you're looking at about 20-ish days for each cycle, and if it's unsuccessful, you gotta restart it up until the point where it gets to like mid-August, end of August. This is the breaking point when I just give up on trying to raise my own queens. They can't, and I'll just keep my fingers crossed that some of the other beekeepers have got some queens left which are already fertile. I can buy one, introduce it to the hive, and get the guys going just before the just before winter. So what I'm seeing here, I'm just gonna scare these bees off a little bit. Do we see anything inside the cells? No, I do not. Okay, let's see what's inside these little cells here. They've laid eggs inside. It seems like, okay, there were eggs inside these little caps, which means they would have turned into, aha, look at this, eh? Look at that. Still hasn't hatched. You seeing this? This is what we were waiting for. I thought she would have hatched by now, but it seems like it's going to be in the next couple of days or so. I must have missed the exact time when that queen cell was actually placed. Okay, the bees are calm, which is a good sign that there's no panic in the colony. They know they've got a queen underway. There is probably more eggs being laid here. These are going to turn into, let's see, yeah, there is an egg inside. So these were going to turn into future queen cells, but I'm going to get rid of them because we've already got one which is almost there. I'm gonna mess him up a little bit, and we're gonna give her a chance. See this lady down here to take over this hive and lead it to success. I'm gonna place him nice and gently back inside. I'm just gonna check until the rest of the hive. Have a look. Okay, this one is a little bit heavier, so it should have a little bit more honey. I'm gonna turn around towards the sunshine. I gently blow them away because I haven't got a smoker. I'm not seeing any drone eggs inside the cells, which is a good thing. But I'm also not seeing any queens anywhere anyway. Sometimes what happens is that a queen will be born, she'll go out on a mating flight, and she'll come back and she still won't be fertile. Sometimes that happens too, and this is the most annoying part of beekeeping, to me personally. Because what happens then? You have a queen, which is not fertile, and when she's not fertile, she's not laying eggs. It's very hard to find her. Like the chances are she will be anywhere in the hive. You would not find her as you would typically look for her, somewhere around the brood. She could be quite literally on the walls, on the bottom of it, like on the honey frames. She will be all over the place. And queens like that, you have to find them and eliminate them. And start the process again, because what will happen is the bees will think, okay, well, we've got a queen, it's getting late in the year, we can't risk, you know, changing the queen now. So they'll just quite simply just leave a bee, right? She will exist within the colony itself, but she will be no use to them whatsoever. And that is a big problem, as I say, because finding those queens is one very tough job. Looking at the pollen, I've got a decent stash. Okay, so inside here we are still waiting for the queen cell to hatch, which was on the previous frame. Well, I'm not gonna mess around with these guys anymore, because quite frankly, I've got nothing to mess them for, basically. So I'm just gonna push them back nice and slowly, and I'm gonna check them again. So let's say this queen cell hatches in about, what is it, in the next 2 or 3 days, and then it takes, as I say, you know, 4 to 7 days for her to get fertile and, you know, come back to the hive and start laying eggs. So if in about, you know, a week or so I don't find any eggs in here, and, you know, the cell has hatched, then I'm gonna have a problem. I'm gonna have to be looking either for a queen inside, which is problematic, as I explained to you just now, or I'm gonna have to start the process again. But coming into August, and with this heat wave, I think I might as well just revert to buying a fertile queen for another beekeeper, because in the next couple of weeks, I would say about 80% of the beekeepers would have gotten rid of all of their, you know, queens, because, you know, this is a revenue stream for a lot of beekeepers. What they do, they really are not interested in harvesting any honey and stuff like that. What they do is they just breed queens and they sell queens. That's quite literally all they do. And we'll see, we might have to, as I say, revert to buying a few queens. And this hive now, right, this is supposed to be, this is the supper, okay? So we have the supper, which is supposed to be filled with, you know, honey, and just down here, this is where we have the queen excluder, and this is supposed to be the brood chambers. When they haven't got a queen, when they haven't got brood to look after, their priority switches on to collecting honey. So let's see how the supper is doing, guys. Bad. Not good. There's nothing on there. There's quite literally nothing on here. Whatever they've collected, it seems like they've eaten it back, because of how poorly the year has been in terms of forage. Oh my days. Oh, okay, I see what's happened there. This is a frame I've had back in time. They had a lot of, it was last year's frame, and they've had a lot of, like, what do you call it, like drone brood, and it was in another hive, so I've cut out the drone brood, and I thought they will build back, you know, the wax over here, but they don't seem to have done a really good job with building it back. That's bizarre. Alright, well, the supper is depressing. Best way to judge if there's any honey in it is by lifting up the entire box. The weight of it will tell me all that I need to know. Yep, this is light. This is light. Very light. Not at all what it's supposed to be. Okay, let's drop on over here. Let's see what these girls doing. They've got a queen already. Has it hatched or has it not? Okay. Okay, it seems like a good population of bees in here, even though it's a queenless hive. Let's see, have they got more honey here in the brood box? End frames are always for the honey. That is poor. How can I harvest anything from these guys? Like, this year's been the worst year. It was actually on the news here in Bulgaria. For the last 25 years, this is the worst year we've had. Like, nothing really happens in terms of agriculture. Nothing really grew. No fruits, no veggies, nada. Alright, I'm gonna blow them gently away. See if we've got any eggs inside. Right, just 1 second. Nothing to look for here. Let's just see what's going on with the camera. It's making some funny sounds. Is it recording? Is it not? Ah. Oh, it is. Okay, we are still recording. Right. Let's carry on nice and gently. These bees are a little bit louder than the last hive. I normally mark my frames so I know what to look for where. As you can see right here, I've put this X, so I'm pretty sure my queen cell is right over here. But I've got you here with me today, so I'm just going to show you the entire situation of the hive. This is supposed to be honey as well. I need to get rid of this frame actually. It's pretty dark. Probably gonna have to melt them down, get the wax out, and get new frames in. Okay. The frames are empty. Can't see any queen anywhere. This is not good. This is not good at all. It seems like they've been eating a lot of honey, trying to make up for the lack of forage in the entire area. Everything's burnt up, as I say. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Interesting. We've got some brood going on here. Where did that brood come from? Interesting. Okay. So you see, so they've got brood, but then there's another queen cell here, which is a very, that's a super weird looking cell. It's not really a queen cell actually. It's something in between a drone and a queen cell. Whatever it is, it's not going to come out healthy. I mean, whatever is inside. Okay, my queens have hatched over here. So, last time, I remember now. Last time, I took from another hive a couple of queen cells. I've cut them out and I placed them inside onto this frame. This is something else you can do. And over here we had 2 queen cells. They both have hatched, which is great. And now all I need to see in this hive is quite literally just some fresh eggs somewhere. If I see fresh eggs, I know there's a queen inside doing a job, and I can close these guys up, take a deep breath, and actually finally, relax a little bit. That sounds good, but unlikely to happen. The bees are getting a little bit agitated, even though I'm working nice and slow. I'll try and get him into the sunshine. Can't see any eggs over here. It's weird, these do really look like queen cells here at the bottom of the frame. I've given you 2 queen cells. There is brood here and there. and I'm just trying to figure out what on earth has happened here. I can't see, still can't see any eggs. It's funny, the bees are raising like drone brood right here and queen cells at the same time, so makes me wonder what on earth has happened to the 2 queens I've left inside here. Normally, whichever queen hatches first, she'll go out and kill the other one, and then she will go on to the mating flights and hopefully come back fertile and start laying eggs, which we've learned is sometimes a very hard thing to do. And it's getting very frustrating because I'm telling you guys, like, beekeeping is so much work. You can't even comprehend how much work it takes unless you've done it at least for a little bit. This is just weird. This is just weird. That's what we're talking about. Nope. Not at all. What on earth is going on? There was some weird brood that looks like it was laid by a queen, and then there is no more signs of any brood anywhere over here. That's just bizarre. That's what I'm telling you guys, like, beekeeping is science itself. It constantly changes. Nothing is the same as it was last year or last week. Anytime you open the hives, be prepared, as you might see something completely new that you've never faced before. And then that's when you start scratching your head thinking, what am I gonna do? And luckily myself, I have, you know, very experienced beekeepers by my side that I can always refer to and, you know, seek advice. But not many people are you know, as lucky as I am. It seems like this hive is having a really hard time raising their own queen. This is probably the this is the 4th time I've given them queen cells and, you know, fresh eggs for them to try and raise their own queen, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to give them another frame now, because if they haven't managed to do it so far, chances are they never will. And time's running out. We're on August now. September, that's when it all comes to an end. So I'm going to leave them be, actually. Leave them the way they are, with their funny little queen cells that they've set up. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to buy a queen, fertile one, if I want to save this family, and actually introduce us to the hive. So when the queen is about to arrive, I'm going to open it up, you know, the day before, this hive, and kill any queen cell that I come across, and then the next day I will introduce the new queen to them and keep my fingers crossed that the bloody bees don't decide that they're gonna kill her, because then there is, you know, there is always that chance. They haven't got a queen, they are struggling, they need a queen, and you go off and you buy them a new queen, and you come back and you see that they've killed her and she's missing, and you're back to square one. And so this is the most frustrating part of the process, you know, to me personally, this time of the year. This always happens around now. Putting back the queen excluded just in case, you know, queen comes around. Obviously they're gonna And I'm gonna, you see these bees flying around the box? These are intruders, right? Because I've had a box, the supper left aside. And these guys are now coming here to rob. This is not even a bee. What are you doing? Get out of there. Alright. Alright bees, I'm going to close you off now. And I'll be back this week with a queen for you. Right.